You're watching Right Angle Production. Welcome to the second episode on India's privatization success story. More than 204 million Indians were undernourished in late 1990s, and this accounts for 22% of the population. If 22% of the population is undernourished, then it is a matter of serious concern. This was the same time when government-owned ITDC was making crores of loss in their hospitality business. The job of government is to govern, then why was government doing business? Especially the hospitality business. Is it justified to use taxpayers' money for compensating the loss of a company? So here the concept of privatization comes in and gives a happy ending to this story. Almost all the hotels were privatized in early 2000s except a few which were kept for strategic and diplomatic purposes, and government got rid of running the hotel and the losses. So what is privatization? Privatization is a very big topic and getting into details is beyond the scope of this video, thus I am keeping it very simple. The simple definition would be selling public companies or the share of public companies to private individuals or private companies. The government pulls out the investment from the companies, so it is also known as disinvestment. To understand the need of disinvestment, we need to visit the industrial policy of our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Immediately after independence, the government of India decided to industrialize the country. The government started investing in various sectors and started producing everything. This was necessary back then because private sector was not in position to mobilize the kind of capital required to industrialize a vast country like India. But this government control system continued for way longer than required and turned into a policy failure. The public sector companies were known for their inefficiency, corruption, nepotism, overstaffing, mismanagement, and poor decision making. In short, public sector companies were a total mess. They continued to perform terribly and suffered large losses. On the other hand, government kept on pumping money to manage the losses which were fundamentally meant for the betterment of citizens. But by the end of 1990s, people started to understand that politicians and bureaucrats cannot run companies. Private companies also have started gaining certain capabilities by this time. Thus, government also started to think about disinvestment of public sector companies. For this, a commission was appointed under the chairmanship of Mr. Ramakrishnan to advise and recommend on disinvestment. The commission classified companies into three categories: strategic, core, and non-core. Strategic companies were those companies which hold high significance from a national security point of view, and Commission recommended not to disinvest these companies. Thus, the scope of disinvestment was limited to core and non-core companies. The core companies were those companies which were technology and capital intensive like power or telecom. The Commission recommended public sector to exist in this category to prevent big private companies from creating monopolies. It also recommended to have a strong regulatory mechanism for this category, and disinvestment were capped at 49%. The non-core category included all the public companies which were not classified as strategic or core. The market in this category was mature and self-regulated by demand and supply. Public companies in this category had to compete with strong private entities and were failing miserably. Hospitality business was one of them, and thus ITDC was disinvested. The government got rid of unnecessary burden of running hotels. One thing to note is that the classification of core and strategic companies were dynamic. So in future, if private companies grow big and successful and the market become competitive, then it was recommended for public companies to move out of that sector. These recommendations were laid 20 years ago, and in these 20 years, Indian private sector has grown multifold. Telecom and aviation sector are the best examples. The outcomes of disinvestment of ITDC are motivating. ITDC was privatized when private sector was competitive and capable of handling ups and downs of the market. We have a very similar situation in telecom industry now. Why do we need a loss-making BSNL in 2020? Jio and Airtel are strong companies, and government also have a strong regulatory authority TRAI to protect consumers. So disinvestment or privatization makes sense. Similarly, Air India, it is also a loss-making public company in a very competitive market with a strong regulatory authority like DGC and AI. Thus, disinvesting Air India is the best thing to do. The bright side in this case is that government is ready, in fact more than willing, to disinvest Air India. The privatization of railway is also in news, and people have given a bad name to it. They say it will make railways expensive and far from the reach of poor. But the past experiences tell us a very different story. Has Jio made the telecom services cheaper or expensive? This is an article from 2013, even before the arrival of Jio. The then private companies like Aircel and Tata Docomo have brought down the rate, and what happened after Jio everyone knows. We also know the story of Jet Airways. Due to losses, they halted their service, and the primary reason behind it was the better business model of low-cost carrier like Indigo and SpiceJet. Jet Airways had around 5,000 crore of losses, and company stopped the operations. While Air India has more than 8,000 crore of losses last year and more than 65,000 crore of losses in last 10 years and is still running with the blessings of taxpayers' money. This is just waste of money, and disinvesting Air India is the only option available. The another thing which they say is that privatization will lead to job losses, but in fact in 2007 BSNL had around 3 lakh employees, and now telecom sector has around 50 lakh employees in total. Private companies are very efficient in expanding the market, thus they employ more people in totality and also reduce the cost of product or services with the economies of scale. And talking about railways, it is not going to be fully privatized as private sector railway is not there. We need to give time to private sector railway to develop and establish themselves. Private sector are very agile and respond to market rate very quickly, which bureaucrat controlled public sector can never do. Privatization brings accountability. Our socialist mindset makes us feel that privatization is bad. Privatization should not be labeled good or bad, it is just a policy. When done at right time and right order can lead to positive results as in case of ITTC, or create havocs like Air India or BSNL. I hope the case study of these companies may have given you a new perspective of privatization. On that note, let's wrap up the video. This is my second video. Please check out my first video, link is in the description. If you found this video interesting and value adding, then consider subscribing to my channel. Please comment down below what you like about the video, what went wrong, how can I improve it, and topics which you would like me to cover. Do follow me on Instagram and Twitter, the social media handles are right in front of you. So please like the video. Thank you. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.